So I've been wanting to post about this photo for some time, but it's not a short story, and I sometimes think when I type out long stories on Facebook, then they end up not getting paid attention to, lack of a better term. So here I am trying to record this story about this very important photo, and it goes back to 2018 when Vicki and I were out exploring in Tennessee one day, where she woke up and said that she wanted to explore around Tennessee and go find a trail or a waterfall or something to do. That we had been coming down to Tennessee for a while to visit my parents, but we had not gone a whole lot out into the rural parts of Tennessee, or the areas that, weren't in Nashville or Nashville area. So we set out from my parents' place in Goodlettsville, and we ended up on 40 heading towards Knoxville. And around Lebanon and Route 70, I decided that I would exit and I would move my way down 70 in the rural areas, and took a few detours and found some farms and took some photos that I still have to this day, that I cherish greatly. And that was a really good beginning to our trip. And we ended up moving through the town of Liberty and stopped and took some photos of their church there and some other things. And then after we left Liberty, we got to talking about our childhoods. And one of the things I started to share was, because we'd passed a field of about 8 or 9 beautiful Tennessee horses, painted horses, some of them brown, with white spots on their back and everything else, and a beautiful barn. And so I started talking about going to White Pines Dude Ranch in Oregon, Illinois, and how I enjoyed 3 or 4 summers in a row where I was able to go to a horse camp and ride horses a couple times a day. And Vicki had mentioned that she had not been horseback riding up to that point in her life. And I then made a declaration: we're going horseback riding today with you. And it was her birthday, by the way, October 19th. Pretty important for you to remember later on here in the story. So we end up Googling riding stables, horseback riding, and we saw that we were about 45 minutes away to a place that I had never been before in Tennessee, but heard the name for the very first time. It was called Fall Creek Falls. And so we called them because it was getting late in the afternoon. It was also winter, or not winter time, but it was definitely later in the fall. We're only a couple weeks from November, and didn't know when their last ride was. But lucky enough, we called at 2:15. We were 45 minutes away, and their last ride going out for the day was at 3. So we got lucky to go on this ride at all. So we hurried down there, got there, did the ride, and then on the way from the riding stables to start making our way back to Nashville, we pulled alongside Center Hill Lake, where the riding stables are near, and I end up glimpsing out of the corner of my eye this rock, huge rock on the shore of the lake, and the fact that the sun was starting to set. So I turned around, got down to the area where the rock was, and was able to snap this photo. And sure enough, I heard in my heart, this is where you need to look. Or look here, basically. And for one thing, I looked and I thought, oh, look here. And I was like, look here, here's this huge rock. And of course, the rock of my salvation being Jesus, I thought that was kind of the point. But then I realized that no, it needed to be, because it had been placed on my heart a year earlier to literally begin Liberty Oak Oasis, which I had just kind of came up with the name through the encouragement of another Christian brother in recovery telling me to name the project and see what God does. Here it is a short 1 year later, and I'm seeing what God's doing. He's leading me. And then all of a sudden, I'm taking this photo and I'm here, look here. And much to my surprise, as I left there, a project that I had not shared yet with Vicki, which had been placed on my heart and I'd been researching for a year, I decided that once we had driven from there to a Pizza Hut and sat down for dinner, I showed her the photo, and I showed her some other research that I'd done, and explained to her that I wanted us to pursue as a ministry Liberty Oak Oasis, and to start in earnest looking for land that we could use for the ministry. And that began a 4-year search to find property. And eventually God led us back to the area, and it just so happens that 4 years to the day, October 19th, on her birthday, the land contract for Liberty Oak Oasis on Duck Pond Road was agreed to. And funny enough, the cherry on top, with God showing off, was as I was driving from Nashville from my parents to go down to Sparta, Tennessee to sign the land contract. I'm going on the bypass into Sparta, and on my right I pass a Pizza Hut and realize that that was the Pizza Hut that we sat at 4 years earlier and discussed finding land for Liberty Oak Oasis. And that now the land that I have and going to go sign the contract for was as the bird flies a short 2 miles away. When we had that conversation at Pizza Hut and God said, look here, he knew that in time we would find property within 2 miles of that Pizza Hut. When I took the leap of faith to share with my wife where God was leading us, and that it was time for us to begin that journey. And it was not a short one. And I was also told by another friend at the beginning that I was not a patient person, and that I was going to have to learn a lot of patience for this to become a reality. And sure enough, my patience, up until this very day that I record this, at the end of June 2025, that patience has and will continue to pay off. And there are great things on the horizon, and I ask that you share this video as a word of encouragement to someone, as well as follow the Facebook page, Liberty Oak Oasis, as well as follow the YouTube page. All those links are below, and I hope that all of this finds you doing well. And I ask each and every person who is listening to this to pray for the mental health ministry of Liberty Oak Oasis, where we will serve pastors, veterans, and first responders struggling with the things that life throws at them, and giving them a place to come to relax and reset. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day.